Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Property Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan, on Magicbricks Now, India's first property channel. Today we're answering questions related to buying, selling or investing in property with Arvind Nandan. Arvind is the Director, South Asia, Valuation Advisory Services, Colliers International. Arvind, great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Let's start. We have Rais Patel who's called in. Rais, go on, tell us what's your question.
Good evening, Kavita. Kavita, this is Rais Patel from Pune. I had booked my flat in Ravet area, Pune. So I do wanted to know what is the return I can expect within 4 to 5 years from this booking.
Within 4 to 5 years. Good evening, Rais. Tell me this. How much have you invested in this flat?
Yeah, the square feet area is around 650 square feet, and the rate is around 4,200. So I booked in last month in February.
Can we have the name of the property?
Name of the property is Prapti Angan, and the developer is the Asia developer.
Prapti Angan, right?
Prapti Angan, right.
Okay, Prapti Angan, he booked it last month. Arvind, what are the prospects of the property? He plans to hold it for another 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, I think that's a good horizon, and we've always advocated a longish horizon, about 5 years or so. So I think that's the first good call that you've taken. Now, if we speak of Ravet, Mr. Rais, first of all, Ravet is an upcoming location. It's a promising location. So, I have my thumbs up for that, definitely. You'll also notice that the average rates in Ravet area are about 4,300 to about 5,000, depending on whether it's a high grade or a medium grade kind of a property. Your own property is by a developer who is, probably just about coming up. So you must do your due diligence very carefully. I'm not saying anything untoward about it, but you must do your due diligence very carefully. The rate that you've mentioned seems to be quite attractive to me, Kavita. In fact, 4,200 odd or 250 is what you said, perhaps, is a good rate to have. So please,
right, Arvind, if you can look at the chart right now, the rates are averaging 5,616 rupees per square foot, which means 4,200 is a very decent rate.
Yeah, but that's, primarily for the better grade and the established properties. If you look at the properties which are, of upcoming developers or probably the first or second time developers, then you have a lower range. The pricing that he is getting is quite comfortable. Also remember, connectivity is decent. It's only improving in Ravet. The other thing is there are malls coming up. There is PVR, and in Balewadi itself, Panchsheel has done a BTS, a build to suit for Cummins. So it's something which is going to definitely be promising. Since you have a 5-year kind of a horizon, or maybe make it slightly longer, then you're definitely in for a very good upside. I would say if you're entering at 4,200 and if the property is good, the developer record is good and everything goes fine after due diligence, then you should definitely look at about 6,000 in about 5 years' time. I think even more, but I would actually not be able to commit very clearly. So you have a good promising location, a good promising micro market. Just be very careful about what you've bought and do all your due diligence very carefully.
So, Rais, do your due diligence very carefully. You are choosing a developer who's on the up and rise. He's just coming up, so you need to do your due diligence over there. Check for all the permissions and then go ahead and sign the dotted line. As far as the location is concerned, it's one with a lot of promise. You can expect rates to go up to at least 6,000 rupees over the next rupees per square foot over the next 5 years. Next, we have Samuel, who's written in on email. Now, Samuel says he's closing a deal to buy a 2 BHK in Vasant Oasis in Marol, Andheri East. He's buying this flat for end use. Possession will be given in a few months. Amenities offered are also good. He wants to know if he should go ahead and buy this property. Vasant Oasis, what's your call, Arvind?
Look, Vasant Oasis is by shade. It's a very well-established name, Kavita. And Samuel himself, I'm sure, is aware of that. So you are going with a brand that's quite well-known. Let's speak of the location first. Marol and Military Road of Marol Maroshi, were quite nice, prime, free kind of developments there, about 15, 16 years ago. However, over a period of time, the whole thing has become quite cluttered. Having said that, I must admit that this particular property has got very nice features. So, despite the clutter that you have in the neighborhood, this particular property, Vasant Oasis, has all the good features. It has, club, and it has swimming pool, it has children's play areas. And the biggest attraction for me in this particular call is that although the average andheri, the rates in that particular area of Marol and Marol Maroshi are upwards of 17,300, 17,500. In this particular property, as per my information, the rates are still at about 16,000 or thereabout. So it may give you a very good starting or an entry point. Yes, you might have to wait for the possession, which can always go a little bit haywire here and there in any property. But I think you are taking a good call. Also remember, if you have to go towards Western Express Highway on a daily basis, you may have a bit of challenge going and then coming back in, which could be as long as 45 minutes in busy hours. However, if you are to go to the JVLR side, then it's relatively easy. So please keep all this in consideration. I think it's a good property. The location has slightly gone down from where it was in terms of its, freeness and the free-flowing infrastructure. Still, it's a good call. I think I'll go with you. It's a good call.
It's a good call, but Arvind, you also mentioned that, this is almost like selling at almost 1,000 rupees per square foot lower than what is the rate in the market. Is that only because it's under construction, or is there any other issue over here?
No, it's primarily because, like you rightly said, it's at an early stage. I'm sure if you go and try and buy a property here next year or a year and a half later, you'll be going up to 18,000, 17.5, 18,000. Although it's important to remember, the rates in this particular area have remained almost stable, constant in the last about a year or so. But, in the future, things may go up, it may start rising. So, I think it's a good point to get.
So you see more of an increase coming in over here because there is a metro already functional at Marol. Marol is one of the stops on the Mumbai metro which is functional. Do you see an upside even after the metro has been built?
Good point. So, I almost missed it. Metro is the latest addition, in that area. It's a good feature because of which the prices will have a positive impact. But, Metro, Military Road, Metro are still a little removed, and the whole area, including a big fire station in that area, and, the lanes inside are quite cluttered. So, there was a time 16, 17 years ago, I must admit, on a personal basis, I've lived in that area for a short while. And I know how nice and clean it was, and I know how much cluttered it has become today. So that is one of the slight negative things. It doesn't really evade erase any of the advantages, but it is something to be taken note of.
So good call, good location, a decent infrastructure. You have a metro over there. However, you do need to check whether it works for you as far as connectivity is concerned, depending on your place of work. Moving on, we have Bishwajit, who's written on our website, www.mbnow.in. Now, Bishwajit has booked a 2 BHK flat at Amrapali Leisure Park in Greater Noida West. He wants to know if it's worth holding a property here or should he sell it. Greater Noida. A lot of the questions we get on the show over here, Arvind, is for Noida Expressway, Noida Extension, in fact, where there is a lot of development coming up. But what about Greater Noida? Are we seeing significant drivers over here, as far as infrastructure is concerned, or jobs?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, that question, because there obviously, are some of the right ingredients in place. However, the whole of the eastern part of NCR, which is Noida, Greater Noida, Noida Extension, all of that, has been affected by a lot of factors. One, there is a huge amount of supply. The demand hasn't picked up in the past. Then there were other things like, the bird sanctuary issue and a couple of other things like that. So somehow it has been marred with a lot of these, little niggling factors. However, having said that, because Biswajit has a specific question on Amrapali Leisure Park, I believe, we must say that it is situated slightly better in terms of, being close to Tech Zone 4, which is one of the better places in that area. There are, apartments. There are also reportedly villas. So it's generally a good mix. And the other additional advantage is that it's slightly marginally lesser priced than the properties or the options in the neighboring areas. So currently, it sells at about 3,200 to 3,500 rupees a square foot, while another marquee property, Stella G1, which is not very far, sells at a significantly higher rate. So you definitely have a price advantage when you're getting in today. The other thing you need to remember is, because we are speaking of a specific market where supply has always been above demand. Amrapali, fortunately, is one of those who have usually delivered on time.
Which is very, very critical, especially in the NCR market, which is seeing a lot of delays.
Yes. So they are one of those who have usually delivered on time. Yes, in certain cases where they have given out percentage shares, etc., there could be certain ifs and buts. But usually, I am saying, they deliver on time, and therefore that is one of the big advantages that you would have. Expect the price to go up to about 4,800, 4,500 rupees a square foot in future. But for that, you will have to wait for Noida, Greater Noida, these markets to come to a full bloom, which I think is still about a couple of years or 3 years away. So if you look at all this, I think it's an okay thing. It's okay to book
so
there.
So you recommend he holds this, he holds this for at least another 5 to 6 years?
5 to 6 will be very good, but if you are patient for about 2 to 3 years, even that should be a decent thing to do.
So 5 to 6 years would be ideal, but you can hold it for 2 to 3 years and then try selling it if you want. We have Arvind Verma who's called in now. Arvind, go on, tell us what's your question.
Yes, my question is that actually...
Yes, Arvind, tell us, we can hear you.
Actually, I want to ask, I want to invest in Jolly Grant Airport, Dehradun, and agriculture land.
Okay,
so
you want to...
safe investment for future?
You want to buy agricultural land?
Land in the Jolly Grant Airport.
Near the Jolly Grant Airport. Mr. Verma, you are aware, I hope, that you cannot really build anything on agricultural land. Is this an investment that you're looking at? Mr. Verma?
I actually meant to ask that, so...
Yeah. What do you plan to do with that plot of land? Mr. Verma, वो जो ज़मीन आप खरीदना चाहते हैं जॉली ग्रांट एयरपोर्ट के पास, आपने कहा कि एग्रीकल्चर लैंड लेना चाहते हैं. उस ज़मीन पर आप क्या करना चाहते हैं? क्या उस पर खेती करेंगे?
नहीं, एक्चुअली इन्वेस्टमेंट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से मैं उसको लेना चाह रहा था.
हाँ जी, लेकिन उस पर आप कुछ बना नहीं सकते क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड पर कंस्ट्रक्शन मना है.
Also, buying of agricultural land itself is...
हम लोग उसको आबादी में घोषित करा लेंगे बाद में, और एक्चुअली वहाँ पे हो भी रहा है, काफी लोगों ने किया भी है इस तरह से.
मतलब एग्रीकल्चर को आप नॉन एग्रीकल्चर में ट्रांसफर करना चाहते, कन्वर्ट करना चाहते हैं?
मेरी बात, हाँ, एग्रीकल्चर लैंड को हम लोग आबादी में इसको जो है डिक्लेयर करा सकते हैं बाद में, और ऐसा हुआ भी है, वहाँ पे लोग कर भी रहे हैं.
ठीक है, आपको किसी ने अंडरटेकिंग दिया है कि ये करके देगा?
नहीं, ऐसा
कोई एजेंसी है जो करवा रही है ये काम?
नहीं, ऐसा कोई नहीं कहेगा, ऐसा कोई नहीं देगा.
मतलब आप पैसा लगा रहे हैं और उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि हो जाएगा?
उम्मीद कर रहे हैं या शायद कॉन्फिडेंस भी है
जी. बट फ्रॉम एन इन्वेस्टमेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, अरविंद, क्या कहेंगे आप?
देखिए अरविंद जी, सबसे पहले तो आई थिंक कविता ने सारी बातें ऑलरेडी कह दी हैं. ये ध्यान रखिए, एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड खरीदना सब्जेक्ट टू बहुत सारी कंडीशंस होता है. बहुत सारी कंडीशंस अगर आप मीट कर सकते हैं तभी आप खरीद सकते हैं. अगर आपके पास फार्मर होने का सबूत है और इसके साथ कुछ बातें हैं, तो अगर आपके पास ये सब है तो लीगली आप तभी खरीद सकते हैं. वैसे तो हमारे देश में कई तरह के ट्रांजैक्शन होते रहते हैं जिनकी हम एडवोकेसी नहीं कर सकते, बल्कि हम हमेशा उसके खिलाफ ही कहते हैं कि ना, ऐसा ना किया जाए. जहाँ तक एग्रीकल्चर लैंड ऑलरेडी कन्वर्ट की हुई है या प्लॉट में उसको बांटा जा चुका है, वहाँ पर ख़रीदने की बात हो तो हम आपको एक मोटी मोटी एडवाइस दे सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर आप सिर्फ एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड खरीदने की बात कर रहे हैं जिसको कि आप बाद में किसी प्रकार कन्वर्ट कर लेंगे, somehow you will convert it to an NA land, then I think you have to basically...
तब पर भी अरविंद, क्योंकि इन्होंने फ़ोन किया है, मान लीजिए इन्होंने नॉन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड खरीदा, क्लीन टाइटल वाली ज़मीन इन्होंने खरीदी है, तो देहरादून में ज़मीन का आगे आपको किस तरह के प्रोस्पेक्ट्स नज़र आ रहे हैं?
हाँ, तो मैं इस पे आ रहा था. इट्स अ गुड पॉइंट. देखिए, देहरादून इस समय देहरादून में काफ़ी अच्छा इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है। एक तो ये है कि विंटर कैपिटल है और उसके अलावा कुछ एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के इस्टेब्लिश होने की संभावनाएं हैं। तो फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देहरादून इज़ एक्चुअली डूइंग वेल, और मुझे लगता है आगे चलते हुए भी देहरादून में अच्छा होगा। और ख़ासकर दो ऐसे स्ट्रेचेस हैं या दो ऐसे माइक्रो मार्केट्स हैं जहाँ पर काफ़ी ज़्यादा उम्मीदें हैं। वन इज़ आपने जैसा कहा जॉली ग्रांट एयरपोर्ट एरिया, वहाँ पर काफ़ी अच्छा है। इनफैक्ट वहाँ तो अब कीमतें ऑलरेडी 7,000-8,000 रुपये पर स्क्वायर फुट तक चली गई हैं। तो हाई टाइम है कि अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं तो कर लें। इसके अलावा सहस्त्रधारा जो एरिया है वहाँ पर भी बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट है। तो इन दो स्ट्रेचेस में आप कहीं भी ट्राई कर सकते हैं। प्लॉट की कीमत तो आपको स्पेसिफिक उस प्लॉट के ऊपर ही देखनी पड़ती है, क्योंकि कहीं 7,000 की कीमत है तो कहीं 500 रुपये की भी कीमत है, डिपेंडिंग कि रोड कैसी, रोड है नहीं है, अंदर बना हुआ है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अभी तक गया है या नहीं। तो एक बहुत बड़ी ओपन रेंज है। You can look at all these areas, but please make sure that you have all your means and all your objectives in place. Otherwise क्या होता है, कई दफ़े लोग उम्मीद में कर लेते हैं. Sometimes you have the confidence that you will get it done or you will get it done through someone else. लेकिन जब वो नहीं होता है तो आपके पैसे भी फंस जाते हैं और कई दफ़े आप खुद पर्सनली टाइम वाइज एनर्जी वाइज भी उसमें बहुत बुरी तरह फंस जाते हैं।
जी, बेहतर
तो
यही होगा कि अगर आप ज़मीन खरीदना ही चाहते हैं इन्वेस्टमेंट के नज़रिए से, तो बेहतर यही होगा कि आप जो है नॉन एग्रीकल्चरल यानी NA लैंड खरीदे। वैसे जो लोकेशन आपने चुना है जॉली ग्रांट, वहाँ पर ऑलरेडी अच्छा खासा इन्वेस्टमेंट, अच्छी खासी बढ़ोतरी हो चुका है कीमतों में, और आगे भी होने की उम्मीद है। Moving on, we have Mandar Karnik, who's written in through email. Now, Mandar is a Mumbai resident. Arvind, he has a budget of 40 lakh rupees. He's expecting a good rental income if he invests this and appreciation. So, which place would you suggest out of Mumbai and Pune? According to him, Pune is a better option because of the smart city tag. He says you could also suggest any other property market in India for good appreciation. Now, all of us want that, Arvind. So, I mean, the whole of India is open for you. So let's pick. Tell us which are your top picks in the Indian market at the moment for a 40 lakh rupee budget.
I think Mr. Karnik, Mandar Karnik has already done all that was needed to do. So you know your budget, which is the first good thing. You've also figured that it could be either Mumbai or Pune, or if not,
okay,
then
we'll come back to Mumbai and Pune. I would like you to answer his second question first. Which are the other property markets in India that you would identify as being good in terms of rentals and appreciation both, and where you can find property in a 40 lakh rupee budget?
So 40 lakh is something where you can definitely find properties. If I go extremely away from the conventional wisdom, then I would say if you have a longish horizon, go and invest in Naya Raipur. Go and invest in Adarsh Nagar in Naya Raipur. There are so many options. But, we may not go that much lateral in our thinking. If you want to be in slightly conventional markets, then there are quite a few options as well. I would say you go to the outskirts of Bangalore. You can definitely find something within 40-45 lakhs. You could even try certain parts of Hyderabad or Chennai. But, or even Ahmedabad, I must not miss Ahmedabad, or, I must add Nagpur. So these are all those markets where you will probably have future appreciation if you stick with the property for, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe up to 10 years. However, to come back to the core of the question, which I think his question was regarding whether he should invest those 40 lakhs in Mumbai or in Pune. Now, I think he's already made a choice, and if I was him, I would actually make the same choice. If you invested in Mumbai, with those 40 lakhs, you're probably going to go too far outside of Mumbai to get a decent sized property. Because even, today even...
Right. So like you said, you pick Pune. So within Pune, which are the markets that you would recommend he invests in?
Yeah, that's the main question. Now, I think a little while ago, we just spoke about Ravet. I would actually take that. It is one of those places where you can still buy 700, 800 kind of, either a very large 1 BHK or a mid-sized 2 BHK, a good property, the appreciation will happen. So I would say look at the whole Pimpri-Chinchwad market and its neighboring areas, whether it's Shirwal, whether it's Ravet, whether it's anything else. Or you could even look at the southern part of Pune, which is the NIBM road stretch, Undri, Pisoli and all those areas. Look at these places. They are all very promising. Pune by itself is promising. And very fortunately, there are initial teasers that the prices are looking good to appreciate now. So all the things are in place. I would say if you have a toss-up between Mumbai and Pune, go for Pune.
So Arvind's top pick here is Pune, and let me just wrap that up for you, Mandar. If you go with Pune, look at Ravet, NIBM, Undri and Pisoli. These are the markets that you should be looking at. Rates coming up on your screen right now. If you look outside of Pune and Mumbai, then you could look at the outskirts of Bangalore, which anyway is one of the top picks. It's a favorite market with most investors. Hyderabad, Chennai, Ahmedabad and Nagpur are the other markets that you could look at. But I believe if you are looking for good rentals as well, you would probably be safer betting on an IT corridor. We have Shomak Chatterjee, who's called in now from Kolkata. Shomak, go ahead. Tell us what's your question.
Yeah, actually, I want to invest in an area called Hyderabad. It's on paper. So I want to know what is the future prospect of this area.
You want to know the future prospects of Nayabad, if I'm right?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you looking to buy there?
Yeah, I'm looking for a 3 BHK flat.
3 BHK flat. And what's your budget?
Around 40 lakhs.
Around 40 lakhs. Nayabad area in Kolkata. Arvind, what would you say?
Nayabad, it's a part of, just a part of the EM bypass, which is one of the most promising corridors. Southern part, so it's a good place to be in. Do remember that it's coming up as yet. So if you buy and if you hold it for 5-6 years, you are definitely making a good investment. About 40 lakhs, could be slightly tight because the average rates are around 5,000 odd rupees a square foot. So for a 3 BHK, it could be slightly difficult. However, if not in the primest of or the most prime brands, you'll still find some less than prime, or as we call them, below A grade kind of properties, where you'll still find some properties. But I think 3 BHK, Mr. Shomak, could be slightly difficult. You could look at which could be about 2 BHK, 2.5 BHK types.
What are the other locations that Shomak could look at with the 40 lakh rupee budget?
Yeah, 40 lakhs. It could be very difficult. Kolkata is as yet at a point where within 40 lakhs, it's going to be a little difficult unless you move extremely outside the city. So I would say unless you're able to up your budget a little, or if you're going to look at a 2.5 BHK kind of a configuration, that should work for you. On the location, I'm quite convinced, Mr. Shomak, it's a good place. Stay invested there if you do, and it'll give you good returns. I would actually think that the rates, as of now, the rates are quite stagnant. They're quite still. But if you stay invested there, there is elections coming up. There are so many other things which are causing a hindrance right now. But 5-6 years, you should get a decent amount of return. I would say if you enter at about 5,200 odd rupees,
right,
you should look at making about 6,500 plus, in times to come in 3-4 years.
So stay invested if you do make the choice, but you might have to stretch your budget a little if you want a 3 BHK flat in Nayabad. Very quickly, Arvind, before we move on to our next question, tell me this. Kolkata is not a market that we get a lot of callers for, but people are re-looking at that market. Now with the government's renewed thrust, the West Bengal government is trying to attract investments. Are you seeing the market, kind of slowly pick up, and do you see better prospects going forward?
Going forward, yes. As yet, there is no, big
is
blast
industry
of activity.
moving there?
Industry is definitely exploring. I haven't seen a very, big movement as yet, but there are all the makings of a good future in Calcutta, and regardless of which government. So I'm not speaking from a political standpoint. I'm speaking purely from an economic or a commercial standpoint.
Purely from an economic standpoint, it has all the makings of a good future in Kolkata. So that's a market that you should probably be looking at. Moving on, we have Dharmender Jain, who's written in on our website www.mbnow.in. Now he's planning to buy property in Ghaziabad on NH24. He's looked at a project called Organic Homes. Position is expected in January 2019. Current price over here, he says, is 2,850 rupees per square foot. He's planning to book a 2.5 BHK flat. He wants to know if this is the right property, the right time, and right price to invest in this market, and how much appreciation can he expect in case he does not stay invested after 3 years. So clearly he wants to hold it till that he hits long-term capital gains and then sell it.
Yeah, I could figure that.
Yeah, very quickly, we're nearing the end of the show. Arvind, can you
Sure.
tell us?
So I'll be very brief with this. First of all, it's a place where there's a lot of new projects coming up. It is close to NH24. There is news that the lanes are getting added, so it'll be widened. However, remember, it is one of those places where mostly people book properties when they have to make a short-term visit to Ghaziabad or to NCR. 3 years may not be a great idea, I would say. If you're just looking at 3 years and then getting out of it,
Right.
it's not going to be a very good idea. You have to
So
go.
he needs to hold for some more
Yeah.
time to actually
Much longer.
benefit from that particular market. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Property Hotline. Arvind Nandan, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming in. Hope to see more of you in future. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, any questions that you would want to ask on buying, selling or investing in real estate, on taxes, on home finance, on legal issues, get in touch with us through email, through Facebook, through Twitter, on our website www.mbnow.in, or simply call us live like all the other callers you saw on the show. Thank you very much for watching Property Hotline. Keep watching Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mbnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.